Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. I am coming to you from Washington's nicest indoor shooting facility, that of course being Security Gun Club here in Woodinville, Washington. We're going to talk about politicians today because you know what? All of them, doesn't matter what letter comes behind their name, have a very loose relationship with the truth. Some a little looser than others. But when a politician has a loose relationship with reality in general, whether that's caused by mental deterioration, Alzheimer's, dementia, I don't know. Well, the ability to connect with any semblance of reality or the truth can be incredibly difficult. And then when you couple that with such an emotionally charged issue, such as civilian disarmament, well, the truth goes completely out the window. So today, let's spend a few minutes, let's get real honest about things. Let's do a little fact checking, if you would. And let's talk about the liar in chief, how Joe Biden can't ever tell the truth about guns. Okay, the story we're going to be talking about was originally published by Lee Williams, a very renowned Second Amendment author, writes for several publications. This one came out of an outstanding website that all of you should be checking out daily. Of course, that is called The Truth About Guns. We're going to put a link for them down below. It appears that your president has lied 304 times at 65 different public appearances on issues related to firearms and Second Amendment rights. Let me say that again. According to the Second Amendment Foundation's investigative journalism project, this president has lied 304 times about Second Amendment related issues in 65 different public appearances since taking office. Now, let us remember that those are all the times in which he is on record telling a lie, and therefore it can be documented. How many times has this president lied about firearms at private fundraisers or other meetings that were not open to the public? God only knows. But this is 304 recorded lies on the record about any issue related to your Second Amendment rights. Let's start with one of his first big lies. Of course, the effectiveness of the 10-year federal assault weapon ban. Now, the president has, of course, stated, because he was the one that came up with the idea, he was the one that led the charge, he beat the NRA before and he'll beat him again, that there was a significant decrease in the number of mass shootings during that time. However, as we know, and we've done videos on it, and so has everyone else out here in the YouTuberverse, that those statistics simply do not bear out in the data. In fact, researchers by the Department of Justice in 2004, when the ban ended, found that there was no decipherable difference pre-ban or during the ban. But on June 11, 2022, the president stated that mass shootings had decreased during the assault weapon ban by 70%. 70%. And then once the ban was lifted, they had increased, shockingly, by that same 70%. What was the president quoted as saying? The point of the matter is that we passed it for 10 years, this ban, and significant violent crime, and particularly mass shootings, went down 70%. But I could only get it passed for 10 years. It had to be reauthorized in 10 years. The Bush administration came into play, and I don't want to pick on the Bush administration because they weren't all that bad, but they didn't have the courage to try to pass it again. And guess what? Violent shootings went up seven times what they were. But then 3 days later at a fundraiser in Hartford, Connecticut, the president again claimed that the ban had effectively done away with most mass shootings, but once the ban was lifted, the number of mass shootings tripled. What did the president say that time? As I said, we did it before in '94, and 10 years after that, the ban was mass shootings went down significantly, the number of mass shootings. That's when the ban expired. Mass shootings tripled. Of course, President Biden has stated that you need a lot more than an AR-15 to rebel against the country, and you need an F-16 or an F-15 depending on what day of the week we're talking about. He has also claimed that as a younger politician, there were apparently these quasi-ice cream trucks running around Jersey and Philly and DC dropping off free assault weapons for everybody. Now, as you know, this president is hell-bent on banning, as he likes to call, assault weapons, even though he nor anyone else in his party could define what an assault weapon is. But the president has used a lot of very creative lies to support this otherwise unconstitutional position. One of his favorite talking points is, and by the way, do you know the reasons why the AR-15 is so strongly supported by so many folks in that industry? Number one, it's the cheapest weapon to make, and it's the highest profit motive they have for any weapons that is made. It makes more money to sell an AR-15 than any other weapon you can buy. That quote was from June 20th of 2022 in California. Of course, President Biden has also talked about all the rogue gun dealers that he's going to go after and all of the problems that we have with gun violence caused by rogue gun dealers. Yet during his entire time in office, we have not seen a single news story about a rogue gun dealer who was busted for contributing to criminal conduct. Oh, we've seen lots of stories about mom and pop operations getting shut down for small little clerical errors that could easily occur on a day-to-day basis. But have we seen a single story about some massive rogue gun dealer being taken down and the criminal enterprise to go with it? Oh, you see, but the president's lies don't stop there, because he is also apparently a ballistics expert. What are some of the things that Joe Biden has had to say about the ammunition which is most commonly used in semi-automatic rifles, if you believe it to be the 5.56 Well, he said this: the most common rounds fired from an AR-15 move almost twice as fast as that from a handgun. That was on July 11th, 2022. Just about 5 weeks later, August 26th of 2022, what did the president say? The velocity of a bullet coming out of an assault weapon is 3.5 times as fast as a bullet coming out of another weapon. So in that 5-week period, obviously there had been a tremendous advancement in ballistics. However, fast forward to November of the same year in New York. What did the president say then? And I point out all the time that what comes out of a muzzle of an assault weapon is 5 times quicker, faster than comes out of a muzzle of another gun. It can pierce a Kevlar vest. There are not a whole lot of deer out there wearing Kevlar vests. That is true, President Biden. There are also not a lot of states that would actually allow a person to hunt with a 5.56 or .223, Washington State being one of them, as the caliber is not powerful enough. And perhaps the biggest lie that the president and everyone else on his side say is that guns are the #1 leading killer of young people. Now, the sad truth is that guns are pretty high on that list. And that is a sad, sad state of affairs. That also takes into account much of the gang-on-gang violence, however, that occurs in many of our country's inner urban areas. The leading cause of death amongst young people are your routine accidents, predominantly car accidents. The second leading cause for young people is drug overdose, predominantly fentanyl. So listen, we as Americans understand that politicians do have a loose affiliation with the truth, and we certainly understand that every president who has preceded Joe Biden and every president who will succeed Joe Biden has likely told us something that was less than honest in the past. However, when it comes to this president, and when it comes to this issue, this all-important issue, the right of self-preservation, the right to secure your freedom, the right to secure you and your family's safety, well, this president here has absolutely no affiliation to the truth whatsoever, and will say and do whatever is necessary to complete his ultimate goal of civilian disarmament. Listen, you may have more questions about the liar in chief or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. You guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is right down there on the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.